Why wait? Why wait for life to push you when you can proudly step forward and confidently say, I'm willing to take the first step? We just keep waiting and waiting for permission when deep down we know exactly what we need to do. We're just scared of what comes on the other side of that decision. You are not going to always receive clarity before you make the decision. And that is the way you trust God. God sometimes is waiting for you to act without having clarity. You will receive clarity after making the decision, sometimes not before. And I know that that can be really difficult and hard to hear, but I think somebody needs to hear that when you are at the precipice and at this crossroads of life, where you can go this way and continue going, down this route and down this life that is predictable and that is, I almost hear like cookie cutter. And in some ways it just feels like it's not you. Or you can make this big, bold, new choice, this new decision, this new path, and you don't know what's on the other side. You don't know what's, how you're going to feel, if you're going to succeed, if it's going to go well, if you're even going to be happy. But you will receive clarity after making that decision, after choosing one thing or another. Because when you sit on the fence, that's a choice. Sitting on the fence, no decision or like indecision is a decision. And so you start to tell life like, I don't care. I don't really mind. I'm on autopilot, But when you start to make choices, even if they're the wrong choices, even if they're the wrong way, you create movement, and then you start to get confirmation, and then you start to receive the signs. Because sometimes I think we're waiting for a sign, and there is no sign. You just have to go for it. And then you receive the sign. It's like so backwards. And I know that it's hard to understand that sometimes you have to make a choice before you receive like the confirmation. I know so many times we are led to believe that like we need to be a full body yes, and we need to receive confirmation to something before we step forward and say, yes, this is what I want. When sometimes we just have to step forward and say, yes, this is what I want, and then we will receive the confirmation afterwards. On the other side of this decision is where the clarity lies, is where the peace is. Again, I feel like the precipice, like this is a huge new beginning for you. And whatever is on the other side, and I channeled this in the last video that I made about just like trusting God when you don't know what's next. I'm just continuing to feel that same energy, that what is on the other side for you is so bountiful, is so beautiful, is so amazing, is so full of love and light and goodness and expansiveness. And it doesn't mean that there's not going to be hard days, and it doesn't mean that in that choice that it's not going to be messy, because when you make a change, I'm just hearing 999, like when you make a change, when you step into a completely new chapter of your life, you are going to have to burn your old life to the ground. When you are an alchemist like myself, when your soul is programmed to grow and to grow and to grow, and that is literally your whole purpose here on this earth, to grow and to evolve, you are going to consistently be leaving people, ending relationships, having these like burning your life to the ground seasons of your life where everything is taken away by the fire, and whatever remains is what stays. And then you continue to build with what's left, and that is alchemy, that is transmutation. you're a mystic. And for these choices, for these big moments in life where you are like standing face to face with a Goliath of a decision, with a Goliath of a question, of a path, and you're wondering and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for confirmation and waiting for a sign and waiting for clarity. I'm here to tell you, you're not going to receive that until you step through. The only way out is through. There is no way out. You are going to continue to feel this way. And I say that and like I hold your hand with love when I say that, but this decision, this feeling is going to keep nagging and nagging at you. And like, that's just the word that I'm feeling. It's like nagging this decision because you already know what your decision is. And you're waiting to feel certain. And this is a pattern of your life. And this is what God wants to end. This is the 999. This is the waiting for clarity that God does not want you to do anymore. God wants you to move. I'm hearing, I trust you. And I'm just like overwhelmed with emotion all of a sudden because God is like, I trust you. Like, I trust you. This decision that you are going to make, I'm again, just like I've been channeling this message over and over. It's just like angels, they're clapping. The heavens are rejoicing. People are proud. And it's so beautiful. And I know that you're afraid, and I know that you feel that you need to be certain and that you need to think about how everybody's going to feel and think about 60 people's emotions, including your own. But you are not here to hold that anymore. You are not here to grasp at life. You are here to embody fullness and to have that which you want. And if you are in a relationship or just any experience, a job, a living situation where you know the next step, where you know the decision, the conversation that needs to be had, and you just keep waiting for something to push you or for God to just say, you know, today's the day. I don't even know what day it is today. I just know it's Friday. But like, you know, today's the day. That, like, I'm just telling you this, like, friend to friend, that's not always gonna come. That's not how it always is going to be. And I feel like this hesitation with saying that, and that's that feeling of like going back and forth and feeling the hesitation of like, do I not, when you already inside know the truth. The truth will set you free. And on the other side of the truth is the confirmation and the abundance that you are waiting so like feverishly to receive. It's waiting for you as well. It's waiting to receive you on the other side. And all it needs is you to trust yourself. All that is needed right now is God telling you, like, this sounds silly, but I feel like you're old enough. Like you're old enough. Like, what do you think? What do you think you should do? What do you think is the right choice? And that doesn't mean like leaning on your own understanding. And that doesn't mean like, you know, never consulting with God or just like the higher power. But that does mean that you have to start to trust yourself. And that within trusting yourself and trusting your intuition, you actually become a clearer channel and a clearer conduit for God to come through you and for the messages to just land and for the confirmation to come before the decision, for God to whisper in your ear, it's going to be, you know, October 15th in the morning at 9 a.m. when you're going to do this and this. you can get to that depth of relationship with God, with yourself, with your angels, with the ones who protect you in the higher realms. But that also needs to happen first and foremost by you acting on these decisions that you already feel inside, because the clarity, I feel like in some ways, has already come. This decision is clear. You know what you need to do. You're just waiting for, what are you waiting for? There's nothing to wait for anymore. And this is like such tough love energy, and I'm sorry if it came off like super tough love, but I love you. I love you so much. And I'm on the other side of like the biggest decision of my life, the biggest burning my life to the ground period. And I've received so much clarity on the other side. And while I received clarity in some ways throughout that decision-making process, I did not start to receive clarity until I chose, until like decision is something that creates such a powerful force in the universe. I don't think there's anything stronger than authenticity and choice. When you choose to be authentic to who you really are and how you really feel and what you want to do and who you came to be and this mission that you have here on this earth. And if there is something that's stopping you or like hindering that, and God is asking you to let it go, and God wants you to rise above, I say go for it. I say trust. Because on the other side is sweet and it's freeing and it's feeling like you can fly. Like I keep saying, like, we're free as the birds now, baby. And you are so capable of making a choice without seeing what's on the other side, and of making a decision without knowing what's next, and without having everything figured out and all your ducks in order and every single step until the next, few years lined up. You came to this earth to grow. You came to this earth to evolve. And sometimes that's going to be messy. These big decisions that you make in life, they're not always going to be clear cut and cookie cutter. The steps are not always going to be laid out in front of you. Like, exactly play for play what's going to happen. Sometimes when we are leaning into trusting ourselves, trusting our intuition, and not going with the flow, but trusting the plan that God has for us, it often looks messy. It often looks like choices that others would not make. Because sometimes God asks us to do things that are unconventional and that are different. But you came here to follow God. You came here to express your soul. You came here to experience. And so hindering yourself from your own growth that is in some ways inevitable. Why wait? Why wait for life to push you when you can proudly step forward and confidently say, I'm willing to take the first step? And then the next step is illuminated, and the next step is illuminated. And it might feel messy to walk life with only, the next step of life being illuminated and not having, 5, 10, 15, 20-year plans. And that's not to say you don't have goals and dreams and aspirations, but that's saying you are at a stage of life where you are surrendering, what I call this, where you are just saying, God, I trust you, universe, angels. I'm here to be used. I'm here to be moved. I'm here to be a vessel. I'm here for growth. And you just open yourself up, and you open yourself up to this free fall, and you say, I'm not in control anymore. I don't have to have everything figured out. It's okay. It's okay. It's up to God now. It's in God's hands. And I'm just sitting in God's palm in the divine waiting room, And I'm chilling. I'm chilling with God. So we're good. We're good over here. Because when you make a brave leap and a bold decision towards a life that you've been dreaming of for your whole life, that's freaking cool. That is so amazing. That is so amazing. Like, I keep telling my kids when they do something like wrong, or like not wrong, you know what I mean? But like they do something just like, I don't know, annoying, something they're not supposed to do. I look at them like straight in the eye and I'm like, literally, I'm like, dude, you're so much cooler than that. Like, dude. And I say this to you now, like, dude, you're so much cooler than that. You are so much cooler than that. Break out of this shell of protection that you have, of feeling like you need to have everything figured out and being control queen, and lean into chaos princess. From control queen to chaos princess, okay? Because chaos princess is like a magnet for abundance, a magnet for opportunity. So let go and let God. It's in their hands now. It's in her hands now. You'll hear me go back and forth from saying God is a woman and God is a man, because I think God is both. I think God is mother and I think God is father. Anyways, random tangent, but yeah, I think that's all you need to hear. I love you with my whole... So yeah, I think that's all you need to hear. I think that was genuinely the message. Go for it. You don't need to wait for a sign. You don't need to wait for clarity. The clarity is going to be on the other side of making the decision. You've got this. I love you so much with my whole heart and my whole butt. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.